Hello and welcome into the video. My name is Morgan. I am a self-regulating coach for you today, okay? I'm going to bring you into some safe knowing within your nervous system and how we can begin to heal from a state of safety and governance and self-attunement and self-alignment, which a lot of us never received. We never received that healing. We didn't know any different. Right? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about family systems, family dynamics, different things that happen, within a family system, within a mother dynamic, within a maternal dynamic, within our caregivers, and how that effect plays into who we are as adults and how we show up as an adult, and what we can do to begin to heal from a child way of living to a more adult, safe, governed self. If you struggle to take care of yourself, if you struggle to make your needs met, if you struggle to set boundaries, if you struggle to stay safe and to know who you are, this video is for you. Most people might not think they even struggle with codependency because it's just seen as the normal way and everybody's doing it. But what happens is you begin to create experiences that are causing you suffering and pain over and over again. I feel afraid at times because there's so much inconsistency in life, and knowing that how I survived as a kid was by seeing that inconsistency and trying to fix it and trying to fine-tune it and make it okay and make it better, because I could not feel safe in myself unless the environment felt safe. And if the environment never felt safe, you never felt safe, right? So this is the big thing. Our caregivers are creating that sense of self that we need to support us and grow us and take care of us and hold us. And if they are not safe, they can't attune to you, if they're not emotionally regulated, if they're super self-defensive, if they never did any healing work, they're not self-aware, they're still living in their unconscious program. Welcome to your reality, baby. You birthed and that's your reality. Whether they didn't have the information, they didn't have the tools, they grew up in a different time, there's certain morals and perspectives that are passed down to them from generations to come. Regardless of that, it's now time for you to learn what it is that is causing you so much pain and suffering and creating so much issues within your relationships in your life, and begin to heal it. For you, it matters. It matters till you're gonna have a ripple effect, but for you, it matters. A lot of cultural stigma, I recently come to realize through some research, is about they did good enough, I did good enough. Something that was really played to me was, I did the best that I can. Even my, my sacral chakra gets tight when I say that. There's a bondage there. It was never really met with support, like I'm struggling right now, and then it was taken on as I'm doing the best that I can. No, it has nothing to really do with the fact that you did the best that you can. It has to do with the fact that I'm suffering right now and I have no one to help me deal with this, right? So if you didn't receive that from your caregivers and it was wishy-washy, your sense of self is wishy-washy and you don't know how to do that for yourself. I really do believe that it only comes down to you being able to be safe, take care of you in every single moment, in the present moment, and building on that each time. How do you want to respond? You don't have to react. How do you want to show up? You don't have to be the same way that you were. And when you have the chance to speak a boundary and say your truth, you can say it, be met with a defense, met with disappointment, met with maybe aggression, but a knowing still that you're okay. Is that possible for you? I definitely think it is. It's possible for me. It's how I began to navigate my adult life, feeling confident in my truth, still having people that love and support me even when I don't have the same position as them, or when I don't think the same way as them. You're gonna get pushback from people that don't agree with you because those people are still living their own way. It's challenging because you're told like they love you and it doesn't matter and all this stuff, and I feel they do love me, but that doesn't mean that they like me. And I didn't always feel that way. So this is to validate you for feeling like you weren't liked or loved by your mom, your grandma, or even your dad, like all the people that, you know, your siblings, that you weren't liked by them. Your family didn't like you. And they might tell you they love you and they like you and they, you know, will never say that. But that doesn't discount the feeling that you feel, which is, I don't feel loved. I don't think they like me. And to me, that part is the most destructive, I would say, because your whole self can't be loved and accepted by people that are taking care of you or supporting you or living with you. So you grow up with splitness in your own personality about what you can accept with who you are. And not being able to accept all the parts of you is really draining. It's really tiring and really destructive, because you're always at war with your own being. You're always at war with your own personality. If you go into rumination and overthinking and constantly like, did I do the right thing? And what about the guilt? You know, the guilt after a conversation, or you have a conflict, and the nonstop thinking, or how about when you don't get a text message back and you go right into abandonment and you go into, I did something wrong, I'm hyper analyzing everything you do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that, because it's one of the most hard things. And no one's really pointing the picture of, this is a nervous system issue, this is a familial systems issue, this is a mother-daughter dynamic issue, this is what you didn't get. They're diagnosing you, they're putting you on medicine, they're calling it, you know, OCD, different things. That's fine, you can call it that, but really what it comes down to is you were not met properly. I'm sure you had a good mother. I'm sure a lot of us had a great mother. I'm sure of us had a lot of shitty mothers. You know, there's abusive mothers, of course. But even if you had a quote-unquote good mother, so did I. I had a great mother. That does not mean that I did not develop tendencies from her caregiving that didn't hurt me and wound me and destroy at times my self-esteem or my confidence or who I am authentically. And I couldn't. You know, I couldn't be that as a child. I couldn't be that as a child. Only some things were allowed and other things weren't. When you start to have that, that's when you say, welcome to the shadow world. Because you have to start to look at the parts of you that are in the unconscious that weren't allowed in order to be yourself, in order to have your full personality back. I felt afraid to acknowledge my shadow, like everybody. But through that process and through that journey, have I been able to know myself and start to live a more self-governed life. So I just want to point to how your life will change when you begin to do this healing work with this family systems, with the mother, the inner child, all of this stuff, the reparenting work and the regulating. It's really about being in a state of regulation as much as you possibly can. And each moment becoming present, being in the present moment. I've been meditating for a very long time, but I now realize why a lot of people share why meditation is so important is because it allows for you to be regulated 24/7. Surprisingly, I mean, of course you're going to slip, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to go into old patterns, but you can come back to a regulated state very quickly. If when we're having a sympathetic nervous system response or a dorsal, and we get back to a state of regulation through our own, discerning of what's occurring, I feel we can really change the world. We change the world. We really can. By starting with you. And having, compassion for yourself, for how challenging it could be at times. It could be very challenging, my friends. Very challenging to do this. You're undoing programs that were ingrained with you for your whole life. Years. Deep, deep stuff. It could be very, very hard. But it's possible to heal. It's possible to change. It still feels like a guilt trap in my own family system of changing and healing. That's the worst thing. Isn't that wild? The best thing possible for you is to change, grow, and heal. Everybody can clearly say that. But that's hush hush, don't do that when it comes down to the family, because you no longer will fit into that system and that tribe anymore. And now the tribe either has to evolve, or it just won't be something that you're involved in the same way. You don't have to cut off your family and run for the hills. I've done that too. I felt so overburdened by everybody's pain my whole life. I have not said that, I have never really said that, but it's true. My whole life. I've felt responsible for everybody's emotions. And not my own. Mine just got pushed away. They weren't taken care of. They weren't understood. They weren't felt. They weren't discerned between who am I and who are they. What was right and what was wrong was uncertain to me because there was no stable coherence between how my mind was versus the environment's mind. I can't even imagine being regulated from the get-go. What that would be like, at least somewhat regulated from the get-go. I really wouldn't know. but my child might. Hold on. There was plenty of good things, but this video isn't about good things. This isn't about that. I'm struggling right now because I'm processing the I want to be strong, you know, but I'm processing the pain on the inside that has never been seen. And thank you to this video for giving me a chance to heal. I should put a clip in the beginning. It's like, alright, I'm just gonna say yeah. This, oh my god. Hello there. Hello, I see you. Staying alive. Staying alive. Ooh. Oh. There's music in my head playing. That's why I dance. Logic, rationale. Do you think that any of this shit is rational? There's nothing rational here. The whole thing is crazy. Rationality seems to be like a compartment in the mind that you can like tap into that allows for you to direct conversation, to use facts and truth and knowledge to ground experience from being this magnificent, wild, and interesting thing that just pops out of nowhere. Boom. Like me. I'm going to end this off with a final note saying that this is going to be the direction I'm going to move now in. And I enjoy doing it this way. There's a lizard here. Animals.